Hi guys! My name is Oakley and I suffer from functional neurological disorder. I'm a TikTok creator who posts about my experiences with FND, living life as a chronically ill teenager, and disability fashion. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my personal journey with FND. Hope you guys enjoy! So first of all, what is FND? FND stands for Functional Neurological Disorder, and it is a disorder that interrupts how your brain talks to your body. It causes many symptoms. Here are some that I have: dissociative or fainting episode, paralysis, tics, dystonia, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, migraines, and brain fog. Those are only some of my symptoms. I have quite a few more, and there are many that I also do not have that other people do. Everyone with FND is different, and we all experience our symptoms differently as well. So there's variation between your set of symptoms and also how you experience them. On to my journey. On the 14th of July in 2020, I was admitted to the hospital. I went from netball practice to being in a hospital bed in the span of 4 hours. We started off with an emergency doctor's appointment that then sent us to the hospital because they thought I might have ovarian cysts. I was admitted with sudden onset abdominal pain. I was admitted to the hospital that night for 10 days. And while I was in hospital, I did all kinds of tests like blood tests, urine tests, MRIs, x-rays, and ultrasounds. And none of the tests could find anything. 4 days into my stay, I collapsed for the first time. And this is where my FND comes into play. I started to develop dissociative or fainting episodes where I'd be in and out of consciousness for hours, and this led to my official diagnosis of FND. In November of 2020 was when I got my diagnosis. I had spent months going to specialist appointments, other doctor's appointments. I had done so many tests. I had been to the ER so many times because no one knew why I kept collapsing. And after 5 months, I finally got my diagnosis. I was diagnosed with functional neurological disorder. And mind you, this is a very, very quick diagnosis. Most people end up having to wait years because doctors will not believe them. And that is a really big issue amongst people with FND. Now we're going to jump to 2 years later. On the 8th of July 2022, I developed tics. I woke up with some face twitching that I tried to ignore all throughout the day. I went bowling with my friends and family that night and my head started jerking backwards and it was really uncomfortable. It continued to get worse and worse and more aggressive, and my mum rushed me to the ER. I eventually started punching myself in the leg and in the face uncontrollably. I had zero control over these actions. I was given muscle relaxants and sedatives, and I was sent home the next day with no answers and no solutions. I was absolutely exhausted. My muscles were constantly working and I felt awful. Probably about a month later, I had my first dystonic episode. My eyes and my neck locked up, my eyes locked shut and my neck locked backwards. I was watching a movie with my family and all of a sudden I had a tic attack that then triggered the dystonic episode. It only lasted a few minutes, but it was quite scary. And now we're going to jump 2 years ahead again. On the 24th of August in 2024, I developed a tremor in my right leg. It felt very weak and unstable and it was very shaky and it was quite aggressive, so I was using one crutch to get around. The next day, I asked my mum to take me to the hospital. I'd had many dystonic episodes in the past, but never in my ankles, and one had triggered that morning and I was quite frightened. While we were waiting in the ER, my other ankle also locked. So now I had 2 ankles locked inwards and I couldn't walk. I was reliant on a wheelchair and I was admitted for 3 days. After those 3 days, I was sent home. I had a wheelchair and a transfer board and that was all. I now had to learn how to navigate life without being able to walk properly. I could take a couple steps on my locked ankles with crutches or a walker, but that was all I could do. I had to bum shuffle up the stairs at my house, learn how to cook in my wheelchair, not be able to go out and do things when I pleased. I had just gotten so much independence when we moved somewhere where I could take the bus instead of needing a ride wherever I wanted to go. and I was so enjoying it, and then this happened and I no longer had that privilege. 2 weeks later, I developed another symptom. I developed paralysis. So I sat down on the couch to watch TV with my family while we ate dinner, and I never stood up again. Not with crutches, not with a walker, nothing. I have not been able to stand or walk since this time. And now we're jumping to the end of January. This was another hospital admission, but it was quite a scarier one. After 6 long months of having a dystonic episode in both of my ankles, they both unlocked. Obviously, this was extremely painful because my muscles had been contracted for 6 months straight. This immense and sudden pain caused me to have a seizure. We had to call an ambulance and I was taken to the hospital. I was given medical fentanyl twice in the ambulance. They gave me more pain medication because of how immense my pain was. And the next day I was taken home in the ambulance because I couldn't bum shuffle up the stairs with my ankles in such pain. They carried me up the stairs to my bedroom, and now I was home with codeine, Panadol, and a lot of praying to do to hope that this pain will go away. And now we're jumping to April. In April, I flew to Auckland, New Zealand to take part in an experimental treatment called TMS, or transcranial magnetic stimulation. They had to do 2 rounds for me because the first one didn't quite work. And all up, I also did 14 hours of physiotherapy in 2 days. This treatment allowed me to regain the ability to wriggle my toes and also to do some really small kicks. And after I got back home from Auckland, I got into the FND clinic in Wellington. Since getting into the FND clinic, I did 6 sessions with them. That's how long the treatment is. I've done a lot of physio and I've worked really hard on regaining more movement in my lower body. I have gotten some new gadgets that I use at home now. I worked really hard on my physio and getting to my appointments, and I'm really proud of how I did. Since the FND clinic and then continued physio after, I have regained the ability to move my left ankle, and I can do bigger kicks and also more controlled movement in my toes. All of the things that I have mentioned today, all of the symptoms, I still experience on a regular basis. I still have fainting episodes, I still have tics, I still have dystonic episodes. I'm in a wheelchair, so I cannot walk or stand. But I'm working towards lessening my symptoms. I am trying to live a normal life as a chronically ill teenager who has just turned 18, who's in a wheelchair, who has FND, and has all of these things working against them, and I am trying to overcome it, and trying to inspire others while I do it. If you have FND and you feel like there isn't any hope for you, I have been there. I have hit so many lows that sometimes it's hard to believe that I could go any lower. But I've also had some amazing highs during my journey. And it's all about balance and focusing on the positive. And yes, we're not always perfect. Yes, we have those horrible moments, but it's looking forward towards the better ones that makes it all worth it. I hope this video will at least help one person accept their FND diagnosis. If you know someone with FND or another chronic illness, send this to them. If you have FND or another chronic illness, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will stay around to watch my future videos. Like, subscribe, and comment down below what symptoms you have of FND or what you learned from this video. Bye guys!